All right, tile friends, welcome back to another episode of Tile Money, the podcast where we discuss the business of being a tile contractor. My name is Luke Miller. Today I'm sitting down with Jason Shupe. Jason, thank you for welcoming me. You welcomed me into your home. Thank you.
No problem.
Right.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Yeah, appreciate your hospitality. So, we're going to be talking about Jason's business, how he went from 0 to 5 years, the struggles he's had, the successes he's had, the wins, and how he did that. And, he recently went through CTI. We're going to talk about that a little bit. He took a CTI test. We're going to talk about networking, how he networks, how he gets his name out there. Before we get into all that, Jason, what's going on in Indianapolis? What do you like to do? You've got this beautiful home on this lake. What's going on in the downtime?
What's under construction for 7 years, but we're contractors and not many of us stay up on our own property. So, actually, I thought about pulling a challenge like show me your bathroom. Like all you contractors, all you badass tile setters, I want to see your bathrooms.
Yeah.
And some people they're going to be awesome, but I guarantee you 90% of them are like mine, still 1982. So anyway, about to change that. Married, 2 kids, and I have always looked for that one thing to handle my ADHD mind, and somehow, some way, with the art background and everything I've done in my life, came to tile, general contracting. Like I said, I don't just do tile, I will do drywall.
Sure.
To an extent. We'll run minor electrical as we're allowed to, things like that. But, to branch out, like I said before, as we were talking earlier, branching out's a big deal. Don't just stick yourself in one thing. There are very few people like Mr. Flash and a few people that can just do tile, and that's awesome. But in Indiana, it's a little different market, so you kind of have to broaden your horizons. If they want you to paint the whole interior of the home and it's going to net you, a couple grand, it's going to take you 3 or 4 days to do it. Why are you not going to paint? I mean, if you don't know it, learn it.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
So you've diversified into other trades, offering, your customers more value for what they're getting with you.
Yeah. Just it's not a lot. It's you have to stay within your license, and I guarantee you, a lot of people out here that are talking about making money and people stealing your work. That's the guy that's bidding. That's the guy that's going to bid, hey, I'll do the electrical and plumbing for less than that guy. Well, you know what? Unless he's licensed for those trades, it's illegal.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
So let the guy have the job, because if that's a client that wants to pick that contractor, then they're looking the cheap way out, and later they're going to call you. And technically, I mean, and I'm leery to even take that client on even after that.
Yeah.
Because if they made that mistake once, how are they going to treat you in their home now? They'll believe you're a better contractor, but how's it going to work in the end? I don't know. We'll talk about it later, but it's all about growth and client selection.
Yeah. That's an interesting question that I want to get to, is how to say no to that customer. It's funny. Jason and I were sitting having a beer down the street at the Cheers of Indianapolis.
Right. Yeah.
And I checked my phone at one point, and somebody had messaged me and said, "Can you talk about on your podcast how to say no to a customer?" And literally 10 minutes earlier, before I checked my phone, I mean, it's just weird the way things work sometimes. We had talked about it. We had talked about how you're choosing your customers now.
Yeah.
So, and really, it's been 5 years, and oftentimes, I've heard and said that 5 years is the sweet spot for when you're going to start, really being known as your customer base starts to know you and starts to give you referrals.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a haul. That's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
That 5 years was trying. Those first 2 years, whoever called me with the money, I'm going to do your job.
Yeah.
I have a family. I have to feed my family. We want to make money. We want to succeed. So therefore, you're at liberty at taking the work that comes to you.
Yeah.
I think as many people have been helpers, have been in this situation where you have to take what comes. And then as time goes on, the people that were the best clients for you, and you get over that time, those 2 years, if you're smart about it and you're receptive, you're going to understand what kind of client do you deal with? What kind of client's going to function well with you? Do you vibe? Do you jive? However you want to say it, groove. If you don't groove, if you don't jive, whatever the hell, you're not going to work.
Yeah.
That client's going to do fishy stuff, say fishy things, do weird things, want to cut a corner somewhere that you shouldn't, and you're going to do it. Why? Because of $1? I know it's tile money, but listen, it's not always about that dollar, because that dollar can destroy your business.
Yeah. Yeah, and what you're talking about, Jason, what Jason's talking about here is looking down the road. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I mean, the whole point of, this podcast is to assist you build businesses that will last the test of time, something you could pass on to a son or daughter, or sell, or just be very proud of on your deathbed, or whatever the case might be. Just, go to sleep happy, go to sleep proud of what you've accomplished. And so what Jason's talking about here, and I've been that guy. When I first started, it was, balls to the wall, and I was selling like a madman. And I did a lot of business that first year. I scaled back my second year because I made so many mistakes that first year. I scaled back. But I remember what you're talking about, because I was in people's homes doing things that I knew I shouldn't. And it was just about the money. And I was letting them control me and my business, and the way I was letting them control me and make me do things I shouldn't. I was following that carrot.
They were controlling your business. What you're trying to build.
How dangerous.
Yeah.
So how do you get to that point, or when did you realize, hey, I need to take control? When was that for you?
Honestly, when the phone calls started to become more common without certain people backing me up. Referrals, legit referrals from other clients that I had worked for.
Okay.
When that starts happening, when you start getting your rollover in your portfolio, now let's back up to that. For one, a lot of people want to come in top dollar because you're good, but you've worked for someone else. Now, can you take the work you did for someone else and apply that to your own portfolio? Well, it's sort of unprofessional. Not sort of, it's unprofessional. And the person that owns that company technically could probably hold you responsible for those pictures and come after you legally. So you have to build your own portfolio. So now you're at the mercy of getting the portfolio built. Therefore, you're not going to be the top dollar tile setter, or whatever you do, you're not going to be top dollar. Now, as you build the portfolio, so you get 5, 6, 7, the more portfolio building you get, the more reputation you get, the more you can show your portfolio and say, I did all this. This is total image contracting. Period. I started solo. Most people start solo. Some people stay solo. I'm not against it, but I'm 48 years old, and I'll tell you something. If you want to continue this business, you need to get someone under your wing and get them to know your business so they can continue what you're doing, so you can sell more work, and then slowly you pull yourself out of the field. You don't have to do that, because I'll need to be on my job sites. I'll need to see that you're starting from your drain out, or you're starting from center out, or
But you can trust him.
You're putting the niche in at a grout line, at least top or bottom, whatever. Bottom's best. But anyway, I don't know. You just feel it, I guess. Like we were talking, this is a lifestyle. Legitimately, you can handle it or you can't. You're willing to dig or you're not. And
And I like what you said to me, earlier. You were talking about how after you've spent some time in the customer's house, Jason will go on an estimate, on a job measure, a consult, whatever you want to call it. And you'll sit down with, Mr. and Mr. Jones, Mr. and Mrs., or Mr. and Mr., or Mrs. and Mrs., I mean, whatever you want to say. However it goes, however that household swings.
Right.
You're sitting down there, you're at the table. What will you say to them after a while?
Maybe they're slingers. But anyway, that's a whole, man, that's a whole nother trick. I'll say, man. Anyway, knowing your clients when you walk in, you kind of have to know how to hone in on their personality. Mm-hmm. And kind of on the phone, you can do that if you talk enough on the phone. I try to bring my clients in on the phone a little more. That way, we might talk 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But in that 40 minutes, I've already kind of gauged, are they traditional? Are they conservative? Are they just shopping for numbers to try to get me to bid against somebody? Or, and so if you pick that up, and then, like I said before, we'll get back to it, but the website. So they've already seen my portfolio. I've gotten to know them a little bit over the phone.
Yeah.
It gives me a perspective. So once I show up, and I walk in their home, I'm looking through their home.
Yeah.
While paying attention to them. But at the same time, my peripheral vision is going off, because I'm like looking at, are you Victorian? Are you mid-century modern? Are you, what's your style? So when I get into your project, I might trump their idea.
Yeah.
And I think that knowing your client, getting to know them quickly,
yeah,
it's a sales thing. I mean, it's something they teach in business school. I don't have a BA, but I do have a very heavy interest in marketing. I have a very heavy interest in being a chameleon and getting to know my clients very quickly.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so once you get to that point where you believe you've sold the job, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to oversell. You don't want to stay over. But once you get to that point where you feel they're comfortable, you ask them a question. You kind of talk about if they're going to be comfortable with you, mm-hmm. correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so you brought a perfect subject in now. So as I'm in a client's home, this should be no secret. So I'm not like telling you guys something that you shouldn't hear or that's top secret. This is just common sense. So I tell my clients this: if you're not comfortable, as we have been speaking, if you don't feel good about, even if you don't choose me, the client, the contractor that you need to pick is the person you feel good in your heart about, because your gut instinct, just like the job you decide to take, because like you said, when you get to where I'm at now, I get to pick my clients just as they pick me. So if I smell a bad situation, like I see a lot of GTP posts, a lot of Tile Money posts, where people are saying, I got in with this client and they're asking this, or you're in a job bid and they're saying you should come down this because so-and-so is pricing this. It's really where you're at, how long have you been in business, where's your reputation, and where do you take it from there? But, like I said, being a chameleon on job sites and picking your clients also, once you get there, man, you should be in a really good spot, because it takes a lot of struggle to get to that point. Yeah. And there's been easy moments in this business where I've said, man, I should just go work for somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, and my wife would be like, no, you're not. You're not going to stop.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You've that's in like your third year. They say you make it 2 years, you should be good. That's so far from the truth. I really think the 5-year mark is a good mark to say, if you made it 5 years, you don't advertise. Like I think we talked about the website thing.
And the truth is, at 2 years, you're just kind of, most businesses are just kind of stretching their legs a little bit. You're just stretching. You're just in the stretching mode. And 5 years, even statistically, a lot of businesses fail at the 5-year mark.
And 2 years is
2 years is even
that's
larger
really
number.
that's really the main number of fail. But year 3, 4, and 5, they're not guaranteed.
Yeah.
We're not guaranteed we'll wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So year 3, 4, 5, 3, you're like, okay, I'm still here.
Yeah.
4, you're like, wow. I mean, my phone's starting to ring.
Yeah.
Without me reaching out, without me doing this or that, or like, heck, I would be the guy that I'd walk through hardware stores and just walk through the aisle of tile, flooring, and then someone would see my shirt or my hat, and they would say, you look like you do this.
Yeah.
And boom, I have a client.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to shop. But if you're fresh, there's no shame.
Yeah, my first year, it's funny, that's the same, one of the things I did. I mean, if I wasn't working, I was making my rounds. In the mornings, I would go to the job sites and ask for the general contractor or, whoever was running the job and ask to speak to them. And then I'd go to the tile shops, I'd hit Home Depot, I'd go in the aisle. I would literally put my card in tile boxes. Like, it's like, you're hungry. Get out there and get some work.
I've pinned them on bulletin areas, and and like Louisville Tile and whatever. I mean,
however you got to do it.
I'd take another contractor's card off, and I'd put mine on. I'd take the pin off their card because there's no other pins, and I'd put mine up. And the funny thing is I went by there recently, and my old cards are still stuck there from a year and a half ago. So, but a couple are gone, and they could be my clients now, and I don't know it. But what else? We were going to talk about something that I just forgot about, but the 5-year mark, if you've made it for 5 years, which is my anniversary right now.
Yeah.
And so it couldn't be more perfect to be interviewing with you, but I can talk a lot about it.
Well, let's talk about some of the struggles, some of those early years. Let's talk about your first employee. How did you go about hiring him? How that kind of went down.
Yeah, I'm going to be very open about that. So I had people work for me, but I couldn't keep them consistent. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I had to make more of the money than they did. Mm-hmm. So I started my guys out, $100, $125 a day. And I know some of you guys, but you live in different areas. Remember, I'm in Indiana, okay? So it's different here. But, I start out my guys with the day rate and work it out that way. And the tough thing is not being able, like if they had kids and things, you as an employer, you become responsible for somebody's family.
Yeah.
It's not just you, yourself, and you. You're thinking about, how can I make more money to feed this guy's family and my own?
Yeah.
So you're taking on a massive responsibility.
Yeah.
And some of you guys have 10, 15 guys. I don't even want to go there. Honestly, I'm cool with like 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
I think I can make just as much money as a guy with 15 guys with 4 or 5. And this is, like we said, talking future.
Yeah.
And I see my future, and I know where I want to be.
That's great.
My goal is to not be breaking my butt in the field the whole time, but to teach and to educate. And if you cannot stop people from going on their own.
Yeah.
And I pay my main guy, and I'm just going to say it this way, Tom Jackson with J&F Tile in Delaware. That dude, I mean, me and him became real close real quick. He has followed me from the start of my business and supported me. And soon enough, we'll be together. He became a new dad recently. So Tom Jackson told me the advice to pay a percentage. I'm not going to tell you how much. That's your decision. But I pay my main tile setter, my main guy. He can do drywall. He can do about everything. He's well-rounded, a great guy. He understands the business. He knows we're going somewhere. And I pay him a certain percentage, and it's a good pay.
Yeah.
He makes good money. Paying by percent, if you think about it, you're going to pay him when you get paid. So when I collect my 50% down, always collect your 50% down. Don't collect 50% down before you're swinging a hammer. Because I'm going to tell you what, you're going to turn that client off the minute you say, I want 50% down and we're signing a contract today, but I'm going to start in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You seem like a scam.
Yeah.
You're done.
You collect anything down?
I collect a $250 contract fee.
Scheduling
That's right.
fee or something. Okay.
If they back off, they lose the money.
Yeah.
If something happens on my end, they gain it. I give them that off their, if we're still together, which it's never failed. But if something were to happen, I'd say,
well, they have skin in the game. They're not shopping around.
That's right. So at that point, they feel obligated.
Yeah.
And it's not feel, they are obligated. They are in a contract. They've got money in it. Yeah. And I always tell them, by the time I start your job and I collect 50%, I'm going to have $3,000 of tools sitting in your garage. You're cool.
Yeah.
You're safe. I don't want to lose my tools.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that's very interesting that I do that I don't think a lot of people do, but I think more people do it than they think they do. But that client, by the time you're done with that job, they shouldn't just be someone you've walked past for a week or two. They should be someone that you establish a relationship with.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then you're shady.
Yeah.
Why? Because if they call you with a malfunction of some sort, if a client calls you and it's a past client and you see it, I don't answer the phone usually because I want it to go to voicemail so I can hear it and I know how to respond immediately. I think it's never a callback though. Fortunately, usually it's, hey, I have a friend or, you know, I just bought a new house or, you know, it's for me to do work.
Yeah.
But if you're afraid to answer that phone call and you don't want to call them back, then you're doing shady work.
Yeah.
You know, you should establish a relationship.
Yeah. If you feel fear every time the phone rings and it's a past customer,
then you're not sleeping
you're doing something a little wrong.
You're not going to sleep well. That means you did the job wrong. You cut corners somewhere that you fear.
Yeah.
You've done something that you're scared of.
But it is a two-way street, and it kind of brings us back to that first meeting, that first phone call, that now you're at a point where you're like, no, I'm not going to work for you. Do you ever do that? You ever fire a customer before? Like, do you ever not go out to someone's house just by the way they're talking to you on the phone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like,
And then, let's say they did get you out to your house and you get out there and like 20 minutes goes by and you're like, this ain't happening. Do you ever feel that?
Yeah, I quickly measure.
Yeah.
And I'll get back to you on your estimate. And usually I'm not, I mean, I don't know. I don't think these people are out to put a bad name on you because they've got 10 other contractors that's already priced at a lower rate and you can already tell. And
they're just price shopping.
Yeah. You know, anytime a client shows me another job bid.
Yeah. So basically,
it's like, no.
You know, like you told me earlier, they're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them because you're going to be in their house for maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe more, maybe less.
Kitchens take,
but
you're
going to want that relationship for possibly 20 years.
Yeah, I had a review. I did get to a point where I was like nervous because I lost one of my people that I was on a referral list that gave me a lot of business. So when that happened, I thought, man, I'm going to put my name on Thumbtack. So I put my name on Thumbtack. I reach out to the clients to give an interview or a review.
Yeah.
And recently I thought, well, let me get some more reviews on here. No, I've taken one job off Thumbtack. Yeah. Literally, it was a fireplace, nothing, no big deal. Yeah. But I did it because it was just right. I felt right, and so I did it. Anyway, I asked this guy for a review. I've done it's the marble shower with the medallion in the back, and I did the backsplash anyway, it came out really well. So I asked him to give me a review, and he puts on a review that says, I hired a contractor. And by the end of the whole thing, I feel like I gained a lifetime friend.
Nice.
That was like the coolest review I've ever had.
I bet.
I thought, that's how I want to be that way.
Yeah.
So he just said that I'm doing my job.
That's really cool.
That I want to be that way. Yeah. So that was really a neat interview or review. I mean, it meant a lot to me. He said that and I expressed it. And funny thing is, I did his giant bathroom. I did a big backsplash, and he just had a big sunroom added onto his home. Yeah. And I said, man, we should tile that. And I was just joking around. He's like, yeah, come and price it.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting ready. He has already ordered everything, and we're getting ready to do it. So, a lot of people turn down backsplashes.
Yeah.
Because they're busy.
Yeah.
Man, I got all these big projects. I don't take that. Psh, that's silly. Talk about tile money.
Yeah.
You turn down that backsplash. That backsplash could just be a test.
Mm-hmm.
Backsplashes, anyone could do backsplash. DIY. My first backsplash is in my kitchen. I won't even show you guys, but about to rip it out and redo it. But a lot of people do backsplashes.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people in the trade only specialize in it, and they can knock out 4 backsplashes a week.
Yeah.
You got 2 employees, you got yourself and one other guy, you can just rock backsplashes. So, you turn down those jobs, and just because you got a lot of big work, that's a big mistake, because I always squeeze my backsplashes in between my bigger jobs. It's 2 days. 9 times out of 10, it's 2 days, depending on the complexity of some of the tile.
Sure.
But most of the time, it's a subway or something simple. So, not simple, we're educated. So you get it in, get out. Next thing you know, there's I have a master bathroom, and we want to do the basement bathroom. We want to add a whole basement.
Yeah.
We'll do a full basement reno, whatever it takes. We're interior remodel specialists.
Yeah.
We're not just tile.
Yeah.
So, I know we're tile money, but this is, it's contracting money.
Well, it's part of a lot of people, the way a lot of people run their business, It's a good way to run your business. Mm-hmm. If your state allows it, if you're licensed, if you're skilled at it, if you have those skills, I like it. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I like that business model. It works for me. It works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about this kind of stuff, where you're getting a review of somebody who says, I gained a friend. I hired a contractor. I gained a friend. I mean, this is what success is. To me, this is what you're striving for. As humans, we all need, certain things. Money is just, unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. Mm-hmm. But what we need is relationships.
That's right.
What we need is fulfillment,
yep.
And to be successful, to give back to the communities we live in, and to give back to humanity in general. And this is the way you do it, is by being genuine, being true to your standards. I mean, all the things we've talked about, true to your standards.
Yep.
Don't let other people, dictate what you're going to do.
And you see it all the time on Tile Money page.
Yeah.
You see people pop up and say this and this, and then 10 people come underneath them and say you're letting the client dictate your worth, your job, your education. So and I think we're probably going to going here, but I'm going to pump in TCA.
Sure.
Anyone out there that's been in business for a couple of years, I don't know that you should jump in 6 months and join NTCA, because your feet aren't even wet.
Yeah.
You don't even know if this is what you're really going to keep doing.
Yeah.
But I think within a year in, your intuition tells you, I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And we talked about getting used to how you get paid in chunks. It's different. Someone might hand you 10 grand in cash, whatever. However you handle it, you handle it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it happens. And you're like, wow, that's a lot of money. But how long does that money last you? A month? Think out your monthly budget. How much you need to put away so you don't do something stupid. Because you can go bankrupt as fast as you came in, you can come out.
Yeah.
And, so I think a lot of people make that mistake.
It's a good point. I mean, especially the large jobs.
Yeah.
You know how many large jobs I lost? Jobs that were going to be 4, 5, 6 weeks. Some of them were going to be 8 or 9 weeks or more. And I'm talking just tile. Like in California, that's all I have my license for. Mm-hmm. Big jobs, like new custom jobs. I lost them and I made that mistake when I was my first year. Mm-hmm. I looked at that bottom dollar. If there was more than 5 digits, if there was more than 3 digits in it, once you get up to like 10,000 above, you're thinking about that 10,000. You're thinking about, that's 10,000. Yeah. If it's 6,000, you're pretty comfortable. But once you start getting 10,000 and above, there's a point, after your first year or two, where you start. That's all you can think about. I mean, you start talking about 20,000, 30,000, and that's all you think about. But you don't think about the time that's invested. And I think you brought up the NTCA. That's where they're one of their shining points. That's where one of the great reasons to be a member is because you can call up a member, across the United States or in the state over or in the next city, and you can say, hey, I'm thinking about taking this job. It's the biggest job I've ever had. Would you mind taking a look at it? And that contractor, that state ambassador, that NTCA member is going to say, yes, I'll help you out here. Let's have a look. Let's run down the numbers. Let's talk it through. Yeah. So that is a powerful point.
Yeah, I mean, talk about resource. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a pile of books sitting there. It's all NTCA and CTEA or CTF. So listen, if you've been in business longer than 5 years and you have never looked at an ANSI book, or you've never looked at the TCA book, or you've never been involved in any of the actual literature, you don't have to join anything. You can get these books online. If you've not ventured your business into the education side of this tile industry and lots of other things that it can include with this, but that's insane because you are losing knowledge for no reason. You don't have to be CTI. That's your choice. It's a big argument. It's ridiculous. Like I said, commercial guys, that's a great test for them. They're going to go through it. That's kind of what, union and things like that, they already kind of have that standard test.
Yeah.
CTI is probably a little more intense from what I hear. I know I can't prove it. That CTI test will break you down mentally, physically, and I won it because at this point I didn't pass it by 4 points, and it drives me nuts because I should have passed that test.
So you just took it last month?
I took it last month,
September,
and now I'm going November 16th to Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
And again, Brian Kalina, who you just did an interview with, is going to sponsor me through Floor and Decor. So what a blessing that is. I'm lucky. I mean, honestly, I don't expect these things. This is where we can jump into the networking side of the business, because I can tell you right now that if it weren't for Instagram and a lot of people I met, like Carl Leonard, who sponsored my first test, and McDaniels, of course, and Tom Jackson, and Tiles by Chris up in Canada, Ken Hudson, all these people that are in Tile Freak, Clinton. These guys are people that if you're respectable and they know you want to be in this business, seriously be in this business, that you can pick up the phone, FaceTime them in the middle of your job site. Yeah. They can be in the middle of their job site. Carl Leonard's done this for me. And we're FaceTiming, and I'm saying, what would you do in this situation? Because I'm like, the cigar pencil, whatever. Yeah. And Carl's like, tell the homeowner to buy some more because, it's going to look like crap. Yeah. Because I'm thinking about putting a filler in or something silly. And he's like, no, you can't do that. Yeah. But these people they're really supportive, and they're here to help you. Yeah. And think about how much money that brings in your pocket to bring the knowledge. So you don't have to want to get CTI. Just hope that if you're not taking CTI, that it doesn't become a pronounced necessity to do this trade, because when you have to stand in line for that test, you're going to regret that you didn't take that test. So if you're so good, like I said with Jason McDaniel, put your tile money where your mouth is, because that test is serious. Luke's about to take this test. I can't wait. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it, to be 100%.
It'll get your body. It will get your body.
I want to support the CTI movement. I really do.
I think it's a great thing.
I do. I really do.
The education side of it, it's basics. And like I said, if you can't go in and nail that test on the basics like you think you can, trust me, that test is going to humble you. It's going to make you think. And then I'm not going to mention names, Jason McDaniel and Carl, who probably finished at 1 o'clock. But, you're talking, I don't know, when I look at skill set and I see what these guys do, and I see McDaniels and I see Hudson and I see, Tiles by Chris has been killing it lately. I'm seeing, 7.5, 8 foot slabs going up. Yeah. He's definitely changed the game in the last year. I've watched him change. all these guys, I pay very close attention to all these guys. My wife hates social media with how I am, but I really tell her that the investment in my time with who I watch and what I see, what I read with your page, what I read with GTP, what I find on Instagram, and when I talk to these people, and you know, I've been fortunate enough now where people are coming to me for advice and they come to me to ask questions, and I feel like it's very strange for me to have that happen. But at the same time, I should embrace it, because if I can teach someone else some things, I feel really good about it. And
that's true.
But these guys, man, these are the upper echelon tile setters. You know, I mean, these guys are doing stuff that people only wish they could do. You know, and you don't have to wish; you can do it.
Yeah, and that's the power of all this stuff. You know, Tile Money Podcast, GTP, Tile Geeks, you know, Facebook, Instagram, all this stuff is networking, and it's a tool. And we have to remember how to use the tool correct. I mean, you want to use it correct. And the CTI is the same way. The NTCA membership is the same way. It's a tool. Put it to work. Use it correctly. It's a supportive thing. It supports the community. It grows people stronger. It helps unify us and unites us as a trade. You know, helps us establish ourselves as, you know, the experts in the field.
Well, yourself understands it more than I do, but I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
So clarify a little bit to people why, you know, so this is nonprofit and this is this, and oh, they're banking off. You see the guys with CTI results, and they're saying, oh, they just made this much money off of you, and they only made you retest so you can pay more money, but the cause of that money, what's it go to, Luke? Because you're a person that gets a benefit of that, because what you do, you're traveling around, you know, you have sponsorships that help you with your cause. That's not wasted money.
No, it's not wasted money. I mean, the thing about it is, there's no fat cat in any of these we want to talk about the CTEF, you know, CTI. We want to talk about NTCA. They're both nonprofits. Mm-hmm. There's no fat cat kicking back, not doing a dang thing. That's right. Like smoking cigars, counting his money. It just doesn't exist. I mean, these are nonprofit organizations. Does a large amount of money pass through their hands? Sure. Where does it go? You know what? It goes right back into the industry. It goes right back into doing something that, frankly, you wipe them off the map. What do we have?
I mean,
we have nothing.
You have these people traveling around the country educating people. I mean, that's not free.
No, the NTCA now has, you know, I think 4 full-time, you know, people on the road. They're adding more because it's so popular. It's so needed. You know, they're wanting to educate everybody how to do things correctly. We see far too many failures. CTI, similar mission, you know, with certification and, you know, standardizations of processes and education. That's what it is.
Like I said, you guys, I missed by 4 points. 4 points, and I'm CTI. But being humbled sometimes is a wonderful thing. And I didn't think I was going into that winning it, but I did have a lot of people online, you know, on social media saying, oh, Jason, you have this, and I've seen your work. And hey, if you're custom home, the CTI test is a killer. And if you're commercial, union or non-union or just straight commercial, you guys know certain things about CTI already that's in your wheelhouse. So I think that commercial guys do have an easy go about with the test. That's okay. But that doesn't make me want to be commercial to pass the test. I just want to pass the test. Now it's a challenge. It was a challenge from the start. You know, Carl being there didn't hurt me at all. He thought it did.
Let me ask you a question. After you pass the test, you receive it, what plans in motion do you have? What are you going to do with that test to better your business?
Honestly, the credentials are great. The knowledge, I already have the knowledge now. Even though I didn't pass the test, like Jason said, you didn't fail because you learned so much. So I know exactly what to do on the next test. It's not even a question. I'm just going to go in and go at it and get it done and get out. I'm done. Thank you. Because, I mean, I deserve it. I've lived it. I know what it's like to lose it. It's okay. But in the end, with that CTI certification, it definitely goes in your credential box, which is a big deal. Like I told you before, when I open up my binder, on this side is my license, my bonds, and my insurance information, and I offer it to every client. They never ask for it because they can see it. It's right there. Go through it, whatever you want to do. On this side, I might have this and this, and I might have my contract from another client. And I'll show them, I'll say, this is my contract, my way I do my contracts, and you can read over it and if there's any questions. But I think the CTI is just, I do think it will be a standard. How long it takes, that's a big question.
Yeah.
But it's picking up steam real quick.
Yeah.
And that tells me it might be sooner than we thought.
Yeah.
Indiana does not regulate. I mean, anybody can set tile if you have a GC license.
Do you need to do flood tests in a shower or anything like that?
There's no codes, nothing. They don't come and
Nothing
check,
like that.
nothing. It's insane.
Yeah.
So that's why Indiana's a tough fight.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something, the knowledge, CTI says you have knowledge.
Yeah.
Saying I'm an NTCA member, and they can go to the website and see you on there with your stuff, that you're legit, and here's your website. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal. And we talked, as you saw in my little garage shop, I have, at least 17 bags of thin set sitting in there, and it's all NTCA vouchers. That's not including the thin set I've already sold. So thin set in itself is paid for my membership.
Yeah.
You're not paying for a membership. You're just joining a group of people that want to educate you and help this industry be real. Everyone's been comparing it to electricians and plumbers, and they walk in, and in 7 hours they're walking out with $1,800. We walk into a bathroom for a week and a half or two, we're walking out with, in profit, we're walking out with like $5,000-$6,000 in profit, total net. It's just a different world. So, and I'll say this, like I said to you before, I bid labor only.
Yeah.
I bid different. But everyone on here that I've seen on your page and on GTP is all giving out discounts for a long time. You have to know when to reel that in and stop. And I think that comes with growth and trust. So your clients now, you're a referral to this client.
Yeah.
That client's probably not called anybody else because they have seen your work here. They trust this person's word.
Yeah.
You have to make this person look good.
Yeah.
You're working for this person too.
Yeah.
And you have to make this person look good, because if you step into this house and do crap, you made this person look bad and your own business.
Yeah.
So now what if this person's saying bad things, this person's saying bad things, and I'm not sleeping good at night?
Yeah. It's not just two people.
That's right. And then it just veins out.
You can't quantify it. It's
That's
20,
right.
30, 40.
That's right. That's right.
Years.
And it's awful. But so the only thing that keeps me up at night is thinking, how not to fail. It's never that I fail in that job, because, like I said, the networking side and the social media side,
Yeah.
that's yours to do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Now you can come on, you can bash other people's work and think you're the best thing ever, and have so much pride
Yeah.
that you're afraid to reach out. But really, you're getting in a spot sometimes where you want to reach out, but you've made such a bad reputation for yourself for screaming out bullcrap
Yeah.
that who's going to talk to you now?
Yeah.
That's why it's senseless to go on social media and there's constructive criticism, and then there's the gray area, and then there's just straight out blatant ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all see it, and we all know who they are, but there's no sense in that.
Yeah, we need to put an end to this nonsense. It'll come up from time to time. Don't let it, like you said, some people are going to get on there and cause a ruckus or cause a scene, try to just, throw stuff up in the air and start a fight. That's what some people's mission, is, unfortunately. It's the internet. We need to just ignore it and put an end to it and, basically get them out of the group. if they persist.
I can tell the GTP's made a change, so I think we're up to
Sure.
like 7,000, and it dropped to like 65. So
Yeah.
one of the admins has been doing some work,
Yeah,
but
cleaning the house a little.
it's not. You could do it once and get away with it,
Yeah.
because you learned.
Everybody has a bad day or whatever.
They'll approach you and say, "Hey, we took out your comments and then we're going to silence you for so long."
Yeah.
And I know that that's one of the GTP rules is you can be silenced for 7 days.
Yeah.
And I've seen people it happen to, and but you should use this to. It's not using it. It's face value. I mean, Instagram is my first. Like I said, Instagram and Facebook are two different worlds.
Yeah.
And Instagram is more everyone. If you're friends with each other on Instagram, you're cool with each other, and that's
Yeah.
it. On Facebook, you join a group of 6,000 people in it. And I only have like 1,200 people on Instagram, so I don't consider that a big. There's people with like 10,000 plus. I'm like, how am I anything? I mean, that's crazy. But your worth isn't about Instagram, and that's another thing we need to hit before we end this.
Let's do it right now.
Okay, so since we just said it, so we don't forget it, because I'm ADHD. So Instagram. So I know a fellow tradesman who mentioned, I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of doing this stuff for the gram. And I thought, what? He's a friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name. He's awesome. Very talented guy. And I called him, and he didn't answer at first. And he called me, and we started talking. And I said, so are you telling me, do you do things like when you do all the miters and all that stuff, does your client pay you for it, or you're just doing it to show Instagram that you can do it?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, I'm just doing it to show people. And I'm like, whoa, if the client didn't pay for it, then what does Instagram give you business? Because I can tell you right now, Instagram does nothing for my business, except my clients will find me there and look at my profile, which is why I don't do stupid crap there. I'm
It probably does more than you think.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, don't be on there just to impress your buddies, or
it could be a third of your business, honestly, that people are just seeing it like as a third of their decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this friend of mine was admittedly doing these fancy things and taking 2 or 3 extra days.
Wow.
To make that job in awesome work.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Good for your portfolio.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't care. That portfolio can grow as it grows, as it's meant to grow, I don't need to impress people on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm really not that person. I have fun on Instagram. It's all a hoot, but I'm not really there to, if I don't have 10,000 followers, I'm not going to have a bad night. I don't really care.
You got to know when to draw the line.
Yeah, it's fun.
If you're losing, days of
if you're doing it for social media,
non-profit,
you're not doing it for the right reason. And that is, time is money. And if you're doing that for social media, then you're wasting your time, and you're not making any money, but you might gain 3 followers.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth it. There's a few people I know that aren't buying, Diablo, dude, you blow it up. Your marketing is phenomenal. You know that. Jared is a good person with me, and we've talked a ton.
Good guy.
If you know Jared and you've been in business for over 2-3 years and you haven't talked to him yet, that's a mistake. That dude is an open book. Use this. The ANSI books, the NTCA books, make that investment. I don't care if you join the groups or not. Get the books. They're open to the public, right?
Yeah. Right. Oh, for sure. For sure.
And it's not about they're going to make money off this book. No, it's going to teach you things you've been doing wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
And you won't believe it. So, wow. The plethora, it's just such a funny word, but the plethora of knowledge that's out there it's in your hands, and you can take that and make everybody talks about, what am I worth? You're worth as much as you know.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, soak it up. I remember my first year in business, I didn't work much with my hands. It was 2008. I was freshly licensed, freshly married, brand new city, and I was only 25. But I didn't make any money. I I didn't do a lot of physical work, but I was on John Bridge forums before smartphones, before Facebook. I was on the John Bridge forums soaking it up. I wasn't talking. I wasn't shooting my mouth. I didn't have nothing to say. I was soaking it up. I was like a sponge. And even after I got in another trade, because of the recession continued, I got into real estate business and properties management. I continue to stay on the John Bridge forums because I'm a tile guy. I've been doing this since I was 17. It's in my blood. So I continued to soak it up, to gain my knowledge. And when I came back strong. And I guarantee it was from all those years of staying connected, staying, on the John Bridge forums, asking questions, reading, do this, don't do that, reading other people's success stories and failures, frankly.
Yeah.
Let's talk about networking a little bit. You do something I haven't yet spoke to somebody. You're a member of your local chamber, is that correct?
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Things like, okay, so we were talking earlier. So things like supporting your local community. So I'm gonna go there first. So your local community. So I live in Greenwood, Indiana. And we have an old downtown. We're kind of a cool little town. And so the Little League, reach out. What costs you $100? You support a good cause. There's selfless good deeds are really hard to come by. So I do a good deed, but it comes back in a weird way. So my logo's on the t-shirts of the team. My logo's on the sign that you walk in the door to pay for your ticket. My logo's here or there. When the announcer comes on, he mentions, and thank you to Total Image Contracting Design and everyone else. Those are simple things that proves to your community that you're going to give back something. And repay for all the community supporting you and as a small business. All of my tradesmen that come on as an electrician, my plumber, my shower glass person, they're all small business and local. We stay tight. It's not really a back scratch. It's just, I believe in what you do. I like your product. I use you and you use me, and you're going to give my name out. The guy does my shower glass. I'm doing his bathroom, which, what's that say?
Wow.
How many showers does he see from other people? He knows the hackerage. So the Chamber of Commerce is something in every town. Every town across the globe, Marion County, Johnson County, Hamilton County, you have a Chamber of Commerce. You can join that. You go immediately, you're on their website. They pretty much say what you do, and it validates you. Just like CTI, it's a validation, another credential, another something that can be in your belt. And so you're supporting your community and you're proving it. And in support of that, your community will support you back. I mean, it's a circle of life in this industry. And like I said, it's a lifestyle. So you have to adapt to the lifestyle from front to back. Because if you don't, you're just going to get left in the dust, because not networking, making fun of this and that, like I see, blowing out someone else's flame to light your own, your own flame's not going to light well. I mean, it's a wet wick. You're making a mistake. You're moving backwards. I see it so much. It really does happen way more on Facebook than anywhere else. You guys need to chill out. I mean, just relax.
You heard it here first. Sure.
Just be what you are, but be humble about it, because like I said, as fast as you gain it, you can lose it. And the people that are out there being that person will be the first to lose it. And that's karma. And I don't wish it on anyone. I really don't. I wish everyone could succeed and we could all be jolly, but like I said, we talked earlier, this industry will chew you up. It's crazy. And you're you have it or you don't, honestly. As an owner. Some, like we said, some people can go and they can sell their work and they can produce the work. Some people can't sell their work, but they can produce awesome. You need to join with somebody and be a part of their company where they'll pay you, like me, a percent. And you become a value. And I pay my guy well, and he understands. he knows how to budget sometimes. But I always warn him, like, here's a big check, budget it, because we still have to stretch, this kitchen's going to go a while, and we still have countertops, and sometimes you're 3 weeks on that, but in between, we're onto this floor, we're onto this fireplace, we're onto this or whatever. So
No, it's solid advice. Yeah, well, I really appreciate that, that outlook and that advice. As a business owner, no matter how small or large,
that's right.
Part of your job is to get involved with the community, network, make these relationships that last a lifetime. Put roots down.
That's right.
Be part of the community. I mean, hey, we're not going anywhere.
That's right.
Here's our name. Here's what we stand for. This is our community. It's a great thing.
Like the logo on my truck. So I drive this town all the time.
Yeah.
Guess what? Maybe the first 2 weeks, my truck went by.
Yeah.
But the more my truck goes by, the more people are like, there goes that total image guy. There's that total image guy,
Yeah.
And
people used to think I had 2 or 3 trucks. I've only had 1 truck. They say, I see you everywhere. How many trucks you got on the road now?
10. No.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny though. It makes a big difference.
Just be careful with, my advice is don't grow fast as you think you should grow, because the fact is, a lot of people make a mistake and they go, I'm watching one company right now. They're up probably 10 to 20 guys and pretty fresh. And that right there can take you backwards as fast as forward.
Yeah.
So, grow, like slow. I went solo for the first year. Second year, I brought someone in and out. That varied because people didn't like the inconsistency, so that's a hard thing. And then I finally got to the point where I could bring a guy on full time because the work was consistent.
Yeah.
And now he's doing well with me. And now I'm looking to, I even said it on social media that, I'm looking to make my expansion now.
Nice.
I've made 5 years. I feel it's comfortable time to grow to 4 to 5 permanent guys, and then be able to really just control 2 solid job sites at a time.
Yeah.
If not, if it's small stuff, you can do 3.
Yeah.
But people like Diablo that run 20 at a time, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's another level.
My brain's crazy, but Diablo, you're nuts, dude. That's we've talked a lot, Jared, and man, you're a business savvy guy. Jared's awesome, and that dude, man, I don't know how he does it, but out of everyone I know on social media, he's probably got the biggest crew, and he does probably own Jersey and New York pretty much, because he's pulling some killer work. And I've seen people go against him and say stuff on Instagram, and I'm like, and they don't know who he is. They just want to talk smack. And I'm like, wow, why would you say that? Or someone you don't even know that could be your biggest mentor.
Yeah. That's a great one.
Instead, you blew it.
Yeah.
He'll never want to be your mentor because you just came at him in an ass way.
Came at him hard, huh?
Just be cool and be a human being. And I'm not here to say love the whales and hug the trees. I'm just here to say, man, treat others like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And when people say things like, oh, it's all in who you know. How do you think I got to know that person? It's just, they may have said something good to me. I said something good back. Next thing you know, maybe they message me their phone number. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I call them. And it's to reach out and say, hey, so how do you do this? What do you do? And then they give me advice. And then maybe I might even have a tidbit for them.
Yeah.
And we listen to each other. And I learn off of it. It's an amazing group. I really love what's happening.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, honestly, is you're just a big part of the movement. Everyone notices it. Everyone's starting to catch on and realize Tile Money is doing something that's valuable to everybody. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of advice on here. Even if you post something from someone else. Like recently, I forget the whole topic, but you posted something that I watched and it really it stuck in my head, and I was like, wow, it's some useful information, and it's like 5 minutes of seemingly nothing, but it's something.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing, like traveling the country, sacrificing, honestly, you're sacrificing, right? You're waking up in a trailer in strange cities all over the place.
That's
and
true.
You know,
That's true.
In a Walmart parking lot the other day, you know, and you're sacrificing. So if you want to know where that nonprofit money goes, look at Luke Miller right now, because that's an awesome situation that's going on right now. And the movement.
I appreciate you saying that. I'm humbled to be a part of it. You know, I started this thing because I felt a need to start it. Frankly, I felt a desire to give back to the community, and I felt, you know, a need that these discussions had to take place. I felt, you know, somebody had to do it, and you know, that's how I got my start. And you know, I want to encourage contractors to know their worth and run their numbers and run a legitimate business. Something that you can be proud of.
I think people need to understand their timelines.
Yeah.
You know, like, where are you at now?
Yeah.
What do you have to show people is your legit portfolio? Because I've heard of people taking these pictures and using them and things like that. And if my guy did the job honestly from start to finish, which my guy's done plenty. Yeah. I tell him, take those pictures. Why not? Yeah. What do you have to hide? Yeah. Because if you trust and believe, just if he's going to go on his own, it's not going to be those pictures. It makes him go on his own. Yeah. You know, so why not let him have his glory, and then that's his portfolio. Yeah. You know, you wrap that corner. You put in that marble backsplash. You did, because he did. You know, the last couple of backsplashes I posted, I definitely gave him props for that, and I stated, you know, this is my guy. Yeah. You know, I didn't do this work. You know, I don't want to lie. Yeah. I paid him, but I have to put him on jobs by himself to know when I'm not around that he can handle everything and make the decisions that I'm going to make without me having to go, hey, everything good? So it's hard to let go, though. Yeah. It's really hard to let go.
Yeah, no, it's a struggle, especially I think within the tile industry, you know, specifically. There's a lot of artistic, you know, creativity, and you know, it's hard to pass that on and say, I'm going to leave you on this job and I'm going to go work on my business. Like I think that is a difficult thing. What helps you get past that?
I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet.
I mean, honestly, I am not there. Yeah. It's like I'm growing into it, so I'm probably 40% out. Yeah. And what's good about my guy is he totally understands that I'm actually selling work. You know, it's not like I'm laying on the couch asleep.
Yeah, he wants you to. Yeah, he wants you to sell more work.
That's right, because he wants to be fed. Yeah. So, like I said, taking responsibility for another family, you know, besides your own, is a huge deal. Yeah. And I think that deters a lot of people from branching a little bit. Sure. Because they're afraid, well, what if I do that and I lose this much money? No. How much work do you see yourself getting? Yeah. And the proof of the work coming in. Yeah. So if you can take on, you know, X amount of jobs in 6 months, well, you can't do it yourself. Yeah. So what, you got to turn down half of them? Or do you want to bring someone on and make 70%? Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that 70% sounds better than none of it and being solo. Yeah. So that's where I learned to do that. And then when the work, you know, and like we talked about, 5th year, good year, things are coming good. Yeah. And I feel comfortable with it. It took a minute. I'm still growing with that.
Well, I like your patience message. I think as time goes on, we're gonna, you know, see the generations getting more and more impatient, unfortunately, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, my daughter's got, you know, her own iPad.
Oh my God. Yeah, mine did too at that age.
It's technically mine, but it's like, you know, she's on it more than I am.
It was yours. It was yours.
So everything's at our fingertips, and that's something I think that it's just going to become a reality, a daily struggle, a common thing. I mean, I struggle with it.
Hey, that iPad's nothing compared to when your daughter gets to 10 years older. So yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, having a 12-year-old, it's man, it is insane. So, you know, as a dads are always more protective than the mother, because the mother is a female. Yeah. So, you know, a dad and daughter relationship, that daddy's girl kind of fades a little. It'll always be there as long as you stay in tune with that. Yeah. You know, our families are everything, And when we become parents, and I know a lot of guys that are younger on GTP that are not parents, and it's a whole nother thing that you'll think about with your business. How hungry are you for this business? Do you really want this business? Because it's very serious.
Yeah.
It's not to be taken lightly. And if we're on a movement to make this trade great, please don't go on GTP and just knock it.
Yeah.
You know, don't knock the positives. And I think that's happening a lot. You know, CTI, knock it all you want, act like that $500 goes nowhere. I just think that the people need to be more receptive to the education. And if you haven't taken the CTI or you don't want to, man, at least order the ANSI books.
Yeah.
At least put your face in those books and tell me you're perfect.
Yeah.
Because you're not. And NTCA is a fantastic thing to be a part of. And they really pay you to be a part of it. They really do.
Yeah.
I mean, where does that come from and how's that work? That's all the companies that represent NTCA. You know,
Yeah. The sponsors of NTCA.
Tech, you know, I mean, I can go on and on. Superior, you know, anyway. So, you know, all the companies.
All the manufacturing companies are giving back.
Basically are just giving this product away.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have, you know, $2,000 of product that I stock up on. So what? You have to go pick it up. You have to go put effort in with filling out the voucher.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What, to get a couple $1,000 you paid $600 for?
Well, let's say it took you 4 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you just made $500 an hour.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
It's terrible. But no, I mean, you're right. You know, it's like, why would you not do that? So I don't care what you think about NTCA. CTI, just don't go bashing it because of here's the thing, the misconception is, oh, you're just doing it because you want to flash your number online. I don't care if you know my number ever. I don't have to hashtag my number. It's not proving nothing. It proves something when I go into my client's home and present my credentials.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm educated on what I'm doing, and a lot of contractors are going to step in your house are not. So their prices, I'm not going to be your cheap contractor. I usually say that in my bids. I'm not going to be your cheapest guy. I don't intend to be. And if your number, I don't say this, but you know, if I sense it, like if you're number shopping, I'm definitely not your guy.
Yeah. No.
And usually I walk off like, I don't even want to bid this job, but I mean, this business is nuts. So it's ups and downs and all arounds, and you, when you're up, and you're down, and you're going to live it, especially in your first 4 years or so. And I told you I came close to bankruptcy once, and it's because of a really bad bid.
Yeah.
Really bad bid, underestimated it, and got stomped.
Yeah.
And so close to bankruptcy that I was just about to back out, and I sat up one night late by myself, and I do that a lot and think, and I told myself, no, you're not going to be defeated by that. You know, all you got to do is get, you know, I had like 5 other jobs lined up that would just, if I could just get to them. And I said, just get to the next jobs and you're out.
Yeah.
You know, you can dig out.
Yeah.
And I did, and I just forged forward. And now, that was only about 1.5 years ago. So now here I am, bounced back. Everything's normal. Things are clean. Everything's good. Yeah. And I couldn't ask for a better company. You're here. Carl was just here. I mean, talked to all kinds of people all the time. Brian Kalina was just through town. I'm about to see him in Chicago. You just did a cast with him. You know, great people in this industry, and you all should be grateful for that, because some of you aren't, and it's kind of weird to watch. But and also I see the age range, and usually they're younger guns, you know, and they're like a little cocky, and I get it. You're good, you know. I do great work. I'm young. I want to mouth off a little bit about it. You know, I've seen people point out stuff on Carl. You know, it's like, have you ever seen a perfect tattoo? Nope. Yeah. You'll never see a perfect tile job. But you see some damn good ones.
Yeah, no, it's true. I've worked with a lot of tile installers, really good guys, you know, and I've come to the, you know, understanding that everybody makes mistakes, and everybody takes shortcuts.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And we justify it. And it's because of the, you know, just we're all imperfect
We're
individuals,
humans.
and it's beautiful.
We're humans. We do,
But if you can get the job at 75-80% right, it's going to last for a lifetime.
That's right. And if you can go home at night and you're not, if you pull away, I always tell my guys this. So if you pull away from a job site and you think, maybe I probably should have, that means you should turn around and do it, because that should have is your gut. And you know what? Like, I'd say 70% of this industry is your gut. Yeah. It's when you're picking your clients, it's your gut.
Yeah.
And I learned, as a lot of people do late, and at 48 years old, it took me a long time to learn.
Yeah.
Literally, listen to what your gut says immediately. Mm-hmm. And usually it's correct. But if you start talking to yourself kind of thing, you know, you're like questioning your own gut, then you're probably going to make the wrong decision. So even when it comes to layout design, down to anything, your gut is a big deal in this industry.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll work. Okay, then you better back up.
Yeah.
That's where, if you've networked correctly and you know the right people, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
NTCA.
Pick up the phone.
A gigantic wealth of knowledge to just pick up and call. Yeah. Your local rep should be on it. They're not all on it. It's okay. They're busy. They have 4 states to spread, you know. I mean, but NTCA, you can usually book, NTCA, TCA, whatever. You can look at those books and learn a lot.
Yeah.
So, you know, being a part of NTCA, you also get a book every month, you know. And this month, if you're NTCA,
the tile letter.
The tile letter, and they have, you know, the females in the industry like Heidi and you know, Tosbar Rachel, I think, made it, and a few people, but that's awesome, you know. I mean, Chanel was in it not long ago, and you know, you guys, I mean, actually Chanel is probably one of the first people with Icon Tile Design, probably one of the first people actually come to me in Messenger and be like, you know, this is where your benefits are within TCA.
Okay.
And then Carl came right back through it too, and a few others, but Chanel was the first person to come out and say, look, I mean, I can't even express what this has done for our business. Yeah. So I'm probably your longest interview ever.
No, it's, you know, we've covered a lot of good points here, from answering the phone to selling the job, you know, to treating your employees correct. So it's a great interview. Thank you, Jason, for taking the time to share.
Totally appreciate it. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, like I did with Jason McDaniels, it's kind of I'm very candid. I don't like to take notes and go, this is what I'm going to talk about. Yeah. It's more fun to just sporadically
explore a little bit.
Yeah, because we actually probably hit a few topics that we didn't even think about when we were having a few beers.
No, I love it.
You know, I mean, I think we hit on some notes that hopefully inspire. I hope people really respond to it in a very good way, because I want to be a part of this, and I'll tell you, one of my goals is to be part of CTEF and to be part of NTCA, and they're all pretty much intertwined, but I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of the education side. I want to be able to travel and do that, but young kids, you know, I'd have to be, it'd be different, but I do want to be a part of it, whether it's local ambassador or whatever, just be a part of it to help, you know, even people here in Indiana, because there's a lot of lack of information in Indiana.
Well, you're getting involved, and that's how you make a change for the better. That's how you give back. So I appreciate it, Jason.
And you're doing a ton, and your podcast is going to get bigger and bigger, and there's no doubt that this is an extremely positive thing. And like I said, when you think the money's going into bad spots, look where we're at right now, because this interview wouldn't happen if it weren't for the nonprofits and being able to put out money and say, hey, we believe in your cause. Let's keep going.
And the manufacturers too, Lady Creek, you know, for profit. They've been able to, you know, consistently encourage me with Ron Nash and you know, sponsor me monetarily, you know, help me out, and you know, they really want to see it's a family-run business.
That's right.
I mean, you know, it's really the greatest industry. So, like Jason was saying, I mean, we're all privileged to be part of this industry.
It really is, because you want to compare us to electricians and everyone. Do you think they have this kind of community? I don't.
I really don't think so.
I don't think so.
I've checked out some of their podcasts, right. And things like that. It's not the same.
It's not. There's really. It's not like without being a union and like a real complete team.
Yeah.
We are a team, and the right people are in the right place for right reasons. And I don't want to hear people say it's because of who you know, and it's because so and so. I didn't get to know them without reaching out. So.
Anybody can do
if
it.
you want to know someone, then reach out and get to know them. Let them know who you are, and trust me, because if you're worthy, Carl, Leonard, Cutting Edge, I want to thank you so much. And Brian Kalina, you're one of the few salespeople that's made it in this industry as a totally different personality. But the support is ridiculous. I mean, I'll just say, if you saw my live interview with Jason McDaniel about what Jason Renard did for me during CTI, it's heart-wrenching for me to talk about. It actually makes tears in my eyes because what he did was amazing. And there really is a solid brotherhood.
Yeah,
and anyone to deny that in this industry is insane, because it's freaking awesome. Yeah, it really is.
For sure.
I mean, I really am glad I picked where I'm at, and I do believe we were put here for a reason. So here I am, here you are, and by chance, here we are.
That's cool.
So I reached out to Luke Miller before he went on tour, and just so you guys understand that this wasn't like some preemptive strike of an interview. He said, what city should I go to? And I said, Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm Total Image Contracting. I've been in business for almost 5 years, and I can tell you where I came from and how I got there. And I didn't expect nothing out of it, but he reached back and said, hey, we'll do that. And time went on, and we kept in contact, and it was spot on. Here he is. So boom, we did it. Love it.
Right on, man. Well, I've enjoyed our time together. I know my audience has benefited from this podcast. So sincerely, thank you, Jason.
I love
Tile
it.
friends, stay profitable out there.